Welcome to another episode of A Fine Podcast with your hosts, Amanda and
Joseph, yes. Welcome. We are back with Dancing with the Stars. We are here for Halloween night.
yes, so season 34, episode 7, Halloween night. Woo! Creepy. Spooky.
Yeah. There were some frights and some treats.
And some delights.
Yeah.
So kicking off Halloween night, we had Whitney and Mark first, and they danced a jazz to Brain Stew by Green Day. Off the bat, you weren't a big fan of the song.
Yeah, I mean, this is I guess just a personal take. I mean, it's more just even the song itself, right? It just didn't it just felt so
Basic.
it's just yeah, I mean, it's just it repeats a lot. There's not a lot
Do an
of
impression of it.
Dun-na, 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 dun-na.
That was a very sped up version.
Yeah, but because there's just not musically, there's not a lot to go off of with it, right? You can't really have lows or highs. It's just this monotonous repeating of the thing. So I don't know. This song just in the routine just didn't do it. It just wasn't intriguing to me. I mean, the moves were good.
The dance was good.
Yeah, but it just wasn't like this wow, because it was the song just really, I don't know, just wasn't good for me.
Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun, dun-dun.
Yeah.
So the judges, Carrie Ann said, even though Whitney is on the top, she wants her to enjoy the process a little bit more. Derek gave some positive feedback. Cheryl said she was impressed by their partnership, but noted a slight timing issue between their side-by-sides. And Bruno praised the performance. And scores. So she received 3 9s and a 10 for a 37 out of 40.
I think 10 from Carrie Ann seemed very strange here. I don't know. It just, and yeah, that was something, right, that Cheryl commented that you noticed first. But even, yeah, the side-by-sides are still not, I mean, that's a very hard thing to nail perfectly, right? But we've seen twice now
it's
where
noticeable
yeah,
to the average human eye, the misalignments and timing.
right.
So that part was disappointing. And yeah, definitely didn't deserve a 10 then if there were timing issues. And there were timing issues.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I think that was over ambitious,
yeah.
that score.
Yeah, the 9s, yeah, they're fine. But yeah.
9s make sense. It was a really good performance, but slight timing issue. But also, they won the Dance Monster-thon that took place. So they received 5 points to their overall score.
Everyone was thinking, oh, Val and Alex kind of got gypped with this. And I think it was easier to see them versus Mark and Whitney. Because, especially towards the end, I mean, Val and Alex were kind of my attention the whole time. Seeing them, right, because they were in the white, they were in the front. The camera angles just always showed them present. So I think your eye was kind of more drawn to them, I think, right? Out of everyone, they just looked to be the most dancing and energetic and high energy and everything. But I do think Whitney and Mark were probably just as much, especially when it got to just the two of them. Spending some time looking at them, they were, I think, just as good. So I think it was kind of a pretty tough decision for them to go with them. But
yeah. And I heard the judges were split. 2 judges wanted Alex and Val, and 2 judges wanted Mark and Whitney. And that's what was taking so long.
Well, I do think, especially in these scenarios, right, this is where like an odd number of judges, I think, helps us substantially because, yeah, when you're a 50-50, how do you, they almost needed like a, I don't know,
A
have
tiebreaker.
Alfonso or Julianne, let Julianne be the deciding. Like someone needs to be I think a break vote.
Right.
So
Right. So yeah, it was hard to see Mark and Whitney as much.
Yeah,
But
because they were in darker clothing and they were in the
in the
background
back.
more, and then
And Alex and Val just stood out, but they were really great, Alex and Val.
yeah.
So
I mean, it really could have gone either way. I think. I mean, either one of them were deserving of the win. So
right. Okay, so Whitney's total score this week, 42 out of 45 after all of that. Pretty high score.
yeah, I mean, she's pretty much generally been top of the leaderboard and continues this week, staying strong.
Yep, staying strong. We'll see what happens next week. So Jordan and Ezra did a contemporary dance to Elastic Heart by Sia. And the judges said a lot of things about the prop that was involved, this rope. What did you think about the rope?
Yeah, I mean, I think go for it. I mean, kind of innovate a little, right? Be creative with it. I mean, take some chances. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I mean, I think it was a solid play to add it in. I think it helps convey their story, and to
And the
try to,
harness.
yeah. I mean, right, there is a thing where it does add a level of difficulty, though, I think, to it, right? Because you do have to make it perfect, right? And the move where she wrapped her leg, the rope around her leg, and then she had to spin out of it, right? You could kind of see she was spinning with in mind about not having anything happen with the rope. So like that, that kind of took you out a little bit because the spin wasn't as natural or in the movement of dance as it would have been. But
I think some of it was distracting to watch. And it had a lot of like gymnastics moves in it and stuff, which I think is kind of like going back to what they did in the beginning. But I do think it was a good risk. Ezra's trying something new into his routines, which go for it. Yeah, try new things. But
yeah. I mean, ultimately, I think it was, I guess, a little bit of a hindrance in this case. But I mean, I don't think that. I'm glad he took the risk to try it out. I think they should try to be more, creative with these types of things.
well, Carrie Ann said it turned out to be a little distracting. There was a little bit of a struggle with the rope. And Bruno said, "No ropes, nothing can hold you back because you believed. Never stop believing."
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it was a good risk to take. And I think the scores were right on too, 2 8s and 2 9s. So, total of 34 out of 40. And then they received 4 points in the Dance-a-thon, Monster-thon, for a total of 38 out of 45. So, I think this has them falling back a little bit from last week. But I think they will take all the feedback and move forward. And they took a risk this week, which was fun to see too.
I mean, I would say too. I think right, contemporary is the one. If you're gonna have a prop, probably I think it's the appropriate one to do it in. And all in all, I mean, I think this is contemporary is the one that just kind of sticks out. That's just so different from all the others. So yeah, I mean, right, they kind of had a little bit of a off week, you would probably say, with this, but I think it's because the contemporary will move back to a ballroom dance next week, and then she'll probably be right back up to the top. So
Right. I could see that. All right. Next, we had Andy and Emma, and they did a Paso Doble to Symphony Number 5 in C minor by Beethoven. Great song.
I appreciated this because I thought this. I mean, I think classical pieces do have a great, they pair very well with ballroom, and it's kind of got a darker theme to the song, and it was great. I think this was like the best Halloween song that they picked for that.
Yeah,
the
this
whole
was
thing.
really great.
So, no, I actually, I mean, the song was great, and then I mean, the performance, it was definitely very cinematic. I think it got almost maybe a little too cinematic. Mainly just with the fog. I mean, the fog, I don't think they should have done as much fog as they
Okay,
did.
but did you think all of the fog was on purpose to try to hide some of Andy's leg movements? Because it was so much fog at one point you could barely see his lower half.
I mean, yeah, I do think it is, right? It's like the outfit changes, right? Or like having the ruffles in a salsa or something to try to help make your spins look cleaner or
Yeah.
something, right? It's kind of that same thing I feel like with this. So yeah, I do absolutely think it was to kind of mask some of that.
Wow.
And but I think because yeah, I think it just got too much. Like I just couldn't really see much of the right. I mean, he was dancing, but it was hard to see technical how well it was. So the fog kind of masked. I mean, a little bit in the beginning, right, and maybe a little bit at the end, right? Because like that at least sets the picture, right, I think for the person watching, right. But so much then it was like, well, where are they? I can't even.
I loved it. I thought it was really funny.
But yeah, I mean, from a cinematic standpoint, yeah,
It looked great.
It was very, very well done. But
It was theatrical. It was fun. The two of them were enjoying it. Andy was in time and did so much better. Great performance.
yeah, I mean, he definitely improved with the timing still, which was a plus. So
Remember when we were watching it, I was telling you like, "Oh yeah, like look, he's actually like doing the dance movements." And then you were like, "Well, he's not like actually like following all the way through with his whole entire body with the movements."
oh well, yeah, well that was just because there was it just fell right because it was fun, right? This was the first pasta we've seen of the season, and for the right being the lead, you've just gotta have power behind your steps, and it just kind of felt like he didn't have a whole lot of full, I guess, just movement, kind of like what the judges say generally, right? These movements that have intention behind it, and it kind of comes from your whole body, right? For like an arm extension, right? Is it you're just placing your arm out, right? Or are you coming more from the center of your body outward? And there just wasn't a lot of that with
All
like
the way to your
the
fingertips,
pasa.
right?
Yeah, yeah. Or like the big roundabouts and whatnot.
So that's what he can build on.
Yeah.
So Carrie Ann said he has some kind of mystery magic happening. Every week he gets better and better. His posture's improved, but he should use his legs more. Derek snapped his 6 paddle because Andy did call out Derek in the opening package. He said, Derek, would it kill you to not give me a 6 one day?
Yeah. I loved Alfonso's response. He's like, well, man, Props is not going to like that.
They're really not going to like that because he like broke it. And then Cheryl said that he's the heart of the show. He showcased some technique, but wants him to show more intention with his movements. And then Bruno said he could be excommunicated after this for sins against the Paso Doble. But he said it was really good. Cult classic horror. And then he scored all 7s, his best score yet, for a total of 28 out of 40. And he got 1 point from the Monsterthon because they were the first called out. And then his total, 29 out of 45 this week.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's finally achieved his all 7s. So,
yay, Andy. And it was his birthday. That would have been so sad.
yeah, I mean, he's still, I mean, to give him credit, I mean, he still is, he's not
contender.
really plateauing. I mean, he is still growing. So, I mean, that's, as long as you're doing that, I mean, that still is good. So,
Yeah. Andy's birthday.
yeah. And he got to stay another week. So.
Yeah, so that's great. And he wasn't called in the bottom 3 this time, or the last 3 people. He finally wasn't in that group.
Yeah, that was interesting that they did that. I guess they want to have something different, but
yeah. So,
or maybe he really just was not even
considered this week.
Yeah, or like even he really wasn't ranked in the bottom 3.
Right. All right, so next, Elaine and Alan did an Argentine tango to Bad to the Bone, but they didn't do it live. We had to go off of the rehearsal footage because Elaine got seriously injured. I think it was a muscle under her rib during one of the rehearsals. It was so bad. She was clutching herself in pain. They had to wheel her into the ambulance and she had to be checked out by a doctor. So when they can't use a live performance, they go back to the rehearsal footage. So the judges were told they have to base their rankings on that rehearsal footage, which they're not dressed up in the rehearsal. They're probably not giving it 100% to not hurt themselves, right? So that's a hard thing. And then we saw Alan solo in his Bad to the Bone outfit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame to kind of see that injury happened. And I guess surprisingly, too, right? Because she had already talked about last week with her foot kind of ripping open. But now this was, ribs, an entirely different thing. So looks like it happened, I guess, from that one lift they had. But anyway, hopefully she'll be back at it next week. And I mean, even for the rehearsal, I mean, it felt like it was coming along very nicely, the routine.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
it would have been great to see, at the final stage with everything. I think it would have come together very well.
Yeah, you could almost visualize what it would have been on stage, and it would have been absolutely magical live in the costumes and full force, and because the rehearsal was still so beautiful and well
Yeah.
done.
I mean, you even think though too, right? I mean, that could have potentially happened in the middle of the
Ooh,
show or something too, right?
that would
Where
have been so bad.
so I mean,
Thank goodness that didn't happen.
yeah. So I mean, all in all, I mean, really kind of judging I don't think there's any issue with that. I mean, yeah, they could be right. I think Alan did mention this. That was their third run through, pretty much like back to back to back.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it still looked very good. I thought so. I mean, I felt like I mean, the eights right were appropriate, and
So they
had
got
it
all
been
eights,
yeah
32 out of 40. And yeah, you feel like that was appropriate. I mean, it's just sad judging off the rehearsal footage because I feel like it would have been 9s and 10s live.
I mean, I think it had the potential, yeah, for sure, at least to maybe be like all nines, and then maybe we'd creep a 10 in,
It would have been powerful, I think.
but yeah,
But yeah, Carrie Ann said she was brokenhearted for her after learning about her injury. Derek mentioned that even from the rehearsals, their performance was really impressive. Cheryl said she's a huge fan of the duo and then also called out the judges for underscoring them in previous weeks. And Bruno gave positive feedback based on the rehearsal too. And then they got 0 points in the Monster-thon because they couldn't participate, which ended in a total of 32 out of 45 for their score. Which was kind of sad seeing Alan by himself. And
well, yeah, I mean, you could definitely and I kind of wonder if he probably has some guilt or fear or for the injury happening, right? Kind of like how you know as we saw with Dylan and Danny with
right.
the broken nose thing, right? She felt so terrible afterward. I'm sure there probably was some of that emotion still riding off of it since it just happened at rehearsal,
Right.
earlier that day. But yeah, you kind of saw he was pretty somber the whole night. But and then really unfortunate to have the injury happen when you have a kind of two part to your scoring system for the for the night. But
Right. And he must have felt like, oh my goodness, we could really go home from this. And he was in the bottom 3. And I'm sure that was really nerve wracking.
yeah, well, yeah, to think maybe it was and almost kind of probably taking a lot of the blame if they had definitely been home that night or something. But no, we'll see. I do hope. I hope that I think this is kind of taking quite a bit of a toll on her. I hope she'll be able to still go. Try to go as close to the 100% as she can. I hope this won't
Affect that.
kind of weaken her out and or just become this inability to be able to go at 100% going forward. But
Yeah, I hope so. Her doctor cleared her to continue on, but they are taking a few days off of rehearsal. So they have it really hard next week because they only have a couple days compared to everybody else to practice their new dance as well.
yeah,
So
definitely be a uphill battle for her for sure with her.
yeah. So we'll see what happens next week, but happy that Elaine is okay and still in the competition. So next we have Danielle and Pasha. They did a Viennese waltz to Die with a Smile. And they had kind of like a murder mystery themed dance where you don't find out that Danielle's really dead until later.
Yeah, well, she kind of gave it away in the little intro they had, but no, I mean, yeah, this was a pretty good dance. I mean, it it had some of that kind of Viennese waltz to it. I mean, just that kind of that floaty feel, like almost. I don't know. For me, when I hear like Viennese waltz, I almost kind of picture just like the fanciful circles, almost like kind of Beauty and the Beast style movement. But, uh, but no, I mean, I think she did a very very good job of this, and it kind of felt, I guess, like the same level, maybe a little bit less as far as like compared to last week. Um, but I mean, I liked it.
I thought it was really beautiful to watch, and I thought they did good storytelling, and it was a nice dance.
Yeah.
So Carrie Ann said there were moments where she really sees the progress, but she's still kind of torn here. Her movements are still kind of small. So overall, she had mixed emotions about this performance. What'd you think about her feedback?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if Carrie Ann just has like
A thing against Danielle or what?
yeah. That is
So harsh.
It does seem like an uphill battle for for Danielle to get Carrie Ann on her side with things, but
Yeah, definitely. So Derek said, I love watching you dance. The stride was beautiful, but it's lacking movement from the torso. And then Cheryl said it was amazing, smooth, proper Viennese waltz, but she wants to see more of the emotion come through in her movements. And Bruno says, well, I felt it deeply. I liked how the dance turned from a dream to a nightmare. And she scored 3 8s and a 9, with Bruno giving the 9 and a total of 33 out of 40. And then Monsterthon, she got 2 points. So grand total 35 out of 45, which I feel like this performance could have received another 9, but
yeah, I mean, it was, it was kind of the 8 or 9 area. I mean, maybe 2 8s and 2 9s or something. Cuz I mean, it was good, but it definitely didn't feel as great or as powerful as like last week coming off of that Argentine tango.
that was really great last week. That was my
So,
favorite.
yeah, I could kind of get, I feel like that still probably has been her best dance so far this season. So I could get a little bit of the, a little bit lower compared to last week.
Wow.
But I think she's still, though, I think she's in a good space, though, to try to
Improve
keep
and
going upward. Yeah, yeah. Like she hasn't lost a ton of momentum, right? I mean, I think this was basically a little under, close to the same, right? Kind of thing. Not so much of an upward movement, but I don't think it's totally broken her momentum where she's gonna potentially get stuck in another rut or something. So
Yeah, that's true. So here's hoping she'll take this feedback and continue to move up from here. So next we had Robert and Whitney do an Argentine tango to Sweet Dreams Are Made of This by the Hampton String Quartet. And this was a really cool dance. I liked it a lot. And I liked how it ended with Robert being dragged under the rafters by the zombies, and then he returned with all the fake blood splattered all over his face. Very good theatrical moments.
yeah,
this.
yeah, that was a little strange in my opinion, but
It was shocking. It was like,
yeah,
perfect for Halloween.
yeah. I mean, it was. I mean, the whole thing it was very like horror gore kind of.
Well, I appreciated that for a Halloween.
Yeah,
night.
I don't know. I guess I do kind of like more of the someone have like more of just the light spooky kind of side of things.
I like the mixture, right? Because if everybody did all the same thing, then it would just be.
Yeah, well, I feel like it leaned more towards just the
fake blood and
the
everything.
dark horror gore. Yeah, kind of like that aspect of things. There wasn't a good blend of like some were just more lighthearted. It was more the dark, ghoulish kind of things. But no, I mean, all in all, though, besides that part, I like the dance. I thought it was fun, and
Besides that part, you didn't even like my favorite part.
I mean, it was all right, yeah, but I don't know. I wasn't crazy about it, but I did. How she came onto the scene though was very cool. Like coming off of the cello and or the bass, but that was I thought that was very cool, and I mean I like the routine for the most part. I mean I thought it was very well done, and the technicals seemed very good. I mean he seemed very into it, and a leading man, and yeah, I think the piece was well done.
So Bruno said he couldn't take his eyes off of him during the routine of full fancy footwork and impressive tricks. And Derek said he is definitely a leading man and he captivated the crowd. Cheryl was amazed by him that he has no previous dance experience, but she said, "My word of advice, make love to the floor with your feet." And that's all she had time to say. And then Carrie Ann said it was great. And then he scored 2 10s and 2 9s for a total of 38 out of 40. And these were his first 10s and the highest score of the season.
I actually wasn't really sure if it was going to be 10 worthy or not, but yeah, I mean, I'd be okay with that. So yeah,
I
mean,
think
felt
he
it was all right.
deserves it. He deserves his first 2 10s.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would say I'm fine with that. So
And then in the Monster Thon, he received 3 points. So his total score for the night, 41 out of 45. Great job, Robert.
yeah, he I think kind of helped get back up, kind of closer to the top, especially with the dance part, and not including the dance-a-thon afterward, but at least he's basically being I think number two with just that. So yeah, he's kind of make his way back to the top of the leaderboard.
And next we had Jen and Jan, and they did a contemporary dance to Look What You Made Me Do by Taylor Swift, which is Jan's bread and butter. So Cheryl called it their best dance, but advised them to work on their connection. Bruno encouraged Jen to let the beasts out. Carrie Ann gave some technical feedback, and Derek provided some notes on the performance. And this was kind of nice to see Jan in his element of Taylor Swift. But you could tell just how disappointed Jen was after hearing all the judges and their critiques. And there's almost a look on her face like they're never going to like give me compliment. It's always going to be judgments, even though I felt really good about this dance.
Yeah, it. I mean, because it. I mean, yeah. This. I don't know if there was too much anticipation, I guess, of this buildup of
Taylor Swift, Taylor Swift.
yeah, and because since Jan is from that, but I mean, I thought it was good. It was good choreo, and the whole thing was very well done. I mean, I do think it was an improvement from last week. Yeah, I don't think there was like the explosive factor to it that really I think everyone was looking for out of it. Uh, but I mean, it was I enjoyed watching it. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't like this totally encapsulating show out of this universe kind of thing. But
Yeah, basically it lacked like that fire and energy that should have been there for that performance, for that song.
yeah, yeah.
So they scored 4 8s for 32 out of 40. They got 2 points in the Monster-thon for a total of 34 out of 45. And they were the ones to go home.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, you know, I think I mentioned last week as well, right? I think for now, if you make second to last, then you're pretty much the one going home because we know Andy's pretty much unstoppable with his popular vote. So
Yeah, which we kind of anticipated Jen and Jan would be on the chopping block, but it really was like the Taylor Swift thing that was probably their last saving grace. If by some reason that could boost them.
yeah, and then it's like, well, what is that going to do? Save you for one more week, and
Then you're gone next week.
right? Because there's, she's kind of been hanging around near the bottom, and there was a couple others who were lower, but now and there just hasn't been like a huge breakthrough, at least from what the I guess judges were hoping for. So, and yeah, her time is finally caught up. But
She's had a good run on the show. Her and Jan made for a great partnership. It was Jan's first time on the show, so he was getting to know everyone, how the show operates, how to do everything. So
I mean, it's definitely right. Kind of what pro you get linked up with, I think, does make a big difference as well, right? Because getting paired up with like Mark or Whitney or Val or somebody is probably going to be more advantageous to you than someone like Jan, right? I mean, they just haven't had the experience of
being on the show for years and years.
right and knowing kind of how to structure your choreos and what the judges really like and what they're really looking for. So it was kind of both of them almost having like this learning experience, right? Her learning how to dance, and then Jan learning how to build choreo properly, and also even probably maybe even being like an instructor as well, right? If he's done all these things with Taylor and whatnot, it's been a lot of him doing, right? Maybe not so much having to teach, but also too, I think a lot of the stuff Taylor did, right, is probably more contemporary bait or hip hop stuff, right? Like this is a whole nother world, I think, that
Right.
he's just not really as used to yet, right? And
It was challenging.
yeah, and
And then recently, there's been all this criticism from what Max said about Jan on his podcast with PETA, Val's brother.
yeah,
And there's all this attention surrounding that, and all the interviewers are asking all the cast about it and what they think about it. But essentially, Max just said Jan has no business being a dancer on this show yet, and so
well, and I guess he's also formally apologized for
yeah. Then
that
Mox
statement,
came.
but
Max came. Max came out with an apology, saying he was sorry to Jan. He'd love to go get a cup of coffee with Jan. I mean, Jan seems like a really good guy. Max seems sorry. He's not. He probably thinks he's a good person, and he didn't say it to be hurtful to him. He said so. I don't know. It's weird.
I mean, I think it's just a matter of the skill level, right? Like, I mean, he has a background, probably stronger, I would say, in like contemporary hip hop stuff than he does in traditional ballroom, probably. So it's just a different type of dance, right? I mean, just because you're good at one dance, you're not as good at that level in a whole separate, field. So, because I would almost say maybe looking at some of the troupe, right? The troupe might be a little bit better technically from a ballroom perspective, but
And do you think the troupe members are upset that one of them didn't get their big break, but Jan became a pro dancer on
I
the
mean,
show?
yeah, there could definitely maybe be some. I guess too, especially. I mean, I don't know all of the troupe, right? But maybe some of them, right, who have maybe been there for a while or something, haven't had their chance yet, right? Maybe they could be a little salty about the thing, uh, but I mean, I think that's just kind of the bureaucracy of the show. So
We also watched some of Jan's TikTok live clips. What do you think about those? Where he's conversing with Emma about
I think it's good. I mean,
animals.
I think it's just helping them get embedded in the culture of the show and
He's actually a really funny guy.
just making a name for himself. Yeah, I mean, because right, I mean,
He's being personable to everybody.
nobody knows him yet, so I think he's just trying to show his character out there. So yeah, I mean, I think he should be doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
So people,
But do you think he's funny?
yeah,
If you were in his situation, would you go live on TikTok out of your car?
yeah. I mean, probably because I mean, I think
That'd be your way to connect with people.
yeah, and I mean, you kind of have to. I mean, he's kind of got two fronts, right? One, he had to market himself just as who he is, so he can kind of build his own fan base, right? Because I'm sure, right, all the Dancing with the Stars fans, right, they probably have pros that they like better, whatever, just follow more so than others, right? So he's kind of got to start doing that. And then two, he's got to build a fan base really for him and Jen so that they would vote for them going forward. So I think he kind of had to tackle it from two fronts. Right, versus like some of the more seasoned ones like Mark or Val, right? They just focus purely on the relationship with the partner and just getting to vote for them, right? Because people already know who they are. So,
Right.
and some of that's just a time factor, right? I mean, they've just been on for years and whatnot, but I think he can kind of maybe jumpstart that with that stuff. There's definitely nothing wrong with going that route.
Agreed. So next we have Alex and Val. They did a Tango to Bury a Friend by Billie Eilish. And we see that during rehearsals, Alex asked Val to challenge her with tougher choreography. So that's what happened this week. What did you think about this dance?
I mean, it was very well done. I mean, and you did see where there was like more challenging, right? And actually just kind of going back, right? I think there was a little bit where Jen had asked or to try to give, Jan create more of this harder choreo, which I think he did, right? But then when Val kind of asked, or Alex asked Val in that, you did see Val definitely took it a step up. Like in the beginning of the dance, first watching it, it was like, oh wow, this is almost like watching two pros go at like like the little interims they do to kind of time fill when they start eliminating everybody. Like the beginning of it almost feel like one of those dances. It was very well done.
Wow.
I mean, as it went on, you started kind of seeing some little differences or mistakes from her side, but overall, no, it was still very very well done. And yeah, I mean, I would say probably one of their top dances so far.
Definitely. They both stepped it up. He stepped it up in the choreography and she stepped it up in taking on a tougher song. So Derek said that Val's tough love got the job done, noting the routine was vintage Val, and he called it chilling, intense, and fantastic. And Cheryl said the tango's full of fire and passion, and they did all of that. And she loved everything about the routine aside from when she broke hold with her partner. Very mad about that. And I think you mentioned that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's right. Traditionally, you don't do that
Oh, why did they do that?
because the whole thing is kind of this chemistry, and then you're with your partner.
Why'd they break hold?
Oh, that. Let's ask. Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's just him trying to be a little bit creative with it, right? I mean, because I guess that's someone just dancing, right? They have to kind of test the boundaries, right? I mean, I think that's just purely a preference play, right? Like maybe Carrie Ann and Derek and Bruno are okay with like stretching that boundary, right? Where you have, what's her name? Cheryl. Or you have Cheryl, right? She just might be more of a traditionalist, right? And doesn't want to see those things happen. But maybe some people are okay with trying to bend the rules in some area.
Yeah, that's true. So Bruno said the performance was drop dead good and praised her footwork. And Carrie Ann said she had mad respect for her for fully embracing the Dancing with the Stars process. And she scored 3 10s and a 9 for a 39 out of 40, which was near perfect and her first 10s of the season. And then plus 4 points for the Monsterthon, totaling 43 out of 45, top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, I mean, she has still continued to. I mean, I think this was a pretty decent sized step as far as like an advancement in her progress of everything so far. And yeah, she is still growing very well and making a lot of improvements.
Yeah. Can't wait to see what happens next week. So next we have Dylan and Daniela, and they dance a Viennese waltz to Can't Help Falling in Love. And we learned that Dylan suffered a broken nose from Danny accidentally elbowing him in the face, but he powered through to perform. And the overall feedback from the judges, they liked it, but it seemed the performance didn't completely land with the intended intensity, despite like the blindfold gimmick and haunting music.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they gave this like, I guess, spooky version. I don't know. The version of the song was kind of weird. I didn't.
It's like it was really weird. I was not expecting that at all.
Yeah, like it right. It was more of this ghoulish take on it, but I don't know. I wasn't keenly for it, but yeah, and I don't know. I just didn't get it. I didn't get that kind of fanciful trance that I'd kind of like to see when I watch a Viennese. So
It was all right.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it wasn't it wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. It's just kind of
I mean, I think Danielle and Pasha should have scored the same as Dylan and Danny this week, but instead, he received 3 9s and an 8 for a 35 out of 40. He got +3 in the Monster-thon for a total of 38 out of 45.
yeah. I mean, I definitely. I mean, I would probably say I liked Danielle and Pasha's better
Better.
than theirs, but that's just a personal take. But yeah, I mean, he's still right. I mean, he's still doing well. I mean, he's. I guess this was a little bit of an improvement from last week, but it hasn't been his best dance of the season. But
Do you think the broken nose affected him?
maybe I don't know. I mean, right? There's probably a little bit of fear of hopefully not getting hit in the face, but
PTSD.
I don't think it's as compared to some things. I don't know, like Lane's injury, right? Something in the rib that's more core might be a little more fearful versus the nose, but I don't know. It might just depend on the person too.
Yeah. So, well, we hope he gets better, continues to get better, and he also continues to improve his dancing next week.
We'll see what he can do next week.
And the bottom, the last 3 couples were Elaine and Alan, Whitney and Mark, and Andy. Just kidding. Not Andy. Jen and Jan.
Well, this right. Some of these, I don't know if it's just because they want to give like each dancer like almost a taste of what it feels like to be in the bottom or something, right?
Yeah. So they're like, let's pull Mark and Whitney to put them here.
Because it is right. Like, come on, we know there's. I mean, that would be a land. Just a total utter shock if they were eliminated. I mean, I guess it's very well possible, right? But very low light chance of that happening. But so of course you immediately think, right, like it's got to be
Jen and Jan or Elaine and Alan.
yeah. I think I did. I think I was worried that it could be Elaine potentially because of the whole absence, and yeah, especially because her score was lower because of the marathon as well. So I think I was originally thinking it probably is Elaine. So I was a little surprised by the Jen, but again, she was second bottom really compared with taking Elaine out of the pictures, and she didn't get to dance at all. So
I was really thinking it would be Jen and Jan, and it was. I would have been upset if it was Elaine and Alan. I feel like she needs another go. So
yeah, I mean it's tough, right? I'm sure it's kind of divided among people, right? Because she didn't show up at all, but she gets to stay around. But I mean, she did. I thought the rehearsal was pretty good, and I mean at that point, right? It's since the popular vote is 50% of the weight in, right? I mean, I do think she's had probably a stronger following than Jen has. So
yeah, that helped. And I just think overall she's been doing really well.
Yeah, and I mean, right, she had the Wicked Dance, which was great in all nines, where we haven't seen Jen get in all nines yet. So, and then coming off of that, right, she could have, if she was there tonight, could have had that. So I think overall she's been probably a stronger dancer. So I think that probably would have some way in, but I guess really it kind of ultimately was a popularity thing, right? Because they both got the same scores. Jen almost had a little bit of the advantage just because she was there for the dance, but Elaine's just got a bigger following. So
Yeah. So that's what happened.
and then of course we know, I mean Andy wasn't in the bottom right, but seeing that last week by 7-point difference he was able to beat out the person.
Scott.
So yeah, so I mean, unless you're more than 7 points, right, then maybe Andy's got a chance to go home. But I think as long as he's within 7 points of the next lowest person, then he's definitely beating them to the cut.
Andy,
So yeah,
finalist, semifinalist, or finalist.
I think at this point he almost could be a finalist.
Wow.
Because I mean, if he's getting all sevens, and even if someone's getting all nines, he'd still beat them in the popular vote, I think, right? Because
Yeah.
that's only a 6-point difference. Now, that's assuming the vote count is kind of static, but I would imagine his following's probably not going anywhere. So,
Right.
I mean, right, you've probably got to get at least 2 10s and 2 9s to beat out Andy with all sevens.
He's powerful.
And if he gets to 8s, then you pretty much got to get all 10s at that point, or he'll still beat you in the popular vote.
He's going to get you.
Yeah, unless they have these other things, right? I guess now they start adding these second dances that can add points, so that could make it a little bit more challenging. But
Yeah, and Andy's almost guaranteed to not get those extra points.
right, I forget if they start doing that like with all of them going forward, or if it's still only some nights or what. But
Yeah, I don't know.
yeah, we'll find out.
We'll find out. Are you excited for next week? We have Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but then they have
The most exciting thing ever.
Flavor Flav
Flavor
as
Flav!
the guest for this, which is
Isn't this going to be so entertaining?
yeah, but it just doesn't make sense, right? For rock and roll, you have a hip hop guy. I mean, I guess Public Enemy was a little bit rock.
He can channel
I
the
don't know.
rock and roll energy. So for this, it'd probably be like Bret Michaels might make sense.
I don't know. Yeah, like him or Eric
Come on,
Clapton.
you love Flavor Flav. You love him. And we watch Flavor of Love. We love that show.
I mean,
We can't wait to see Flavor Flav.
right? Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, right? Like you think
Flavor Flav!
Ozzy Osbourne, right? Slash.
No, I'm telling you, Flavor Flav was the first person to come to my
I mean,
mind. Yes, we're excited for Rock and Roll Night
yeah. So anyway, I mean,
with Flavor Flav and his clock.
we will, see what he can bring to the table. And he's gonna be like, I'll say I've enjoyed these past like Dancing with the Stars champions, because I do think they bring a lot of good insight, and I think they have a good thing to judge, right? Where it's more like, right, Flavor Flav, he's just gonna be more of this fun vote. He'll probably do like 9s and 10s for most people. I feel like he'll
What if
just
he
gotta
gives
be like
Andy a 10?
a nice vote. I mean, he
He
very well.
could.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because I mean, for him, I think it's just going to be more like the performance of it, right? Because he's not going to have the technicals, so it's just going to be like how much did he enjoy watching it, probably.
Right.
So we'll see though.
We'll see. We're excited to see him.
That'll be fun nonetheless. It'll be
Yes.
wild for sure.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much for joining us on A Fine Podcast.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. I hope you liked it, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and check us out on social media.
That's right. And tune in next week for our full review on Flavor Flav as a guest judge.
Yeah, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame coming at you.
Wearing a clock saying Flavor Flav.
Ciao.
Bye.